You are listening to The Home Straight. My name is Sotume, and as usual, I'm with Musiburi Whitehead this evening. But it's a bit different this evening because it's not just the two of us, as well as Salepan Hirden in the studio. We are joined by a couple of guests. We are having an Olympics show. So we have Amanda Dlamini from Banyana Banyana joining us. And we're talking, of course, about the Culinary Olympics that will be taking place in Germany. So we are joined this evening by Chef Blake, who's going to be preparing a few dishes for us and, of course, talking about what the experience is going to be like in Germany, what he's hoping to achieve, as well as Amanda, on the other hand, who's also going to be talking about what she's hoping to achieve at the Olympics.
It's all about champions, and Blake Anderson will teach Amanda how to prepare a champion meal and teach the youngsters as well how to be champions and eat right, because it all starts there. And of course, we want to have all those wonderful flavors. I see he's got some, I don't even know what some of this stuff is here.
Looks very interesting though.
Yeah, it looks very, very interesting. So that's exactly what the show is about. Let's start off by talking to Blake here, Blake Anderson. Blake, who are you and what are the Culinary Olympics?
Good evening, firstly, and thank you for having me. So the Culinary Olympics, basically like the normal Olympics, happens every 4 years, showcasing the best of the best from all countries. So like the Olympics, normally countries come together or nations come to compete, showcasing what each country can bring to it. So South Africa will be taking ingredients and food from South Africa to represent our country, to show the other, let's say, nations what South Africa has in store, what blood, sweat and tears goes into all of it.
So is it the biltong salad that you'll be preparing there, or something a little bit more highbrow, as he kind of rolls his eyes at me?
Let's say a lot more high-end. The teams that are competing, as I mentioned, is the best of the best. Just like the other Olympics, you're going to compete against people that have dedicated their lives to this. This is practice, practice, and more practice.
Yeah. No pressure at all. So you're there with Amanda.
I'm with Amanda, yeah, and I'm hoping she can tell us whether or not she's a cook. Do you cook? Are you a great cook?
I'd like to think I'm a great cook.
And what's your signature dish? Like the one that, you know, if you've got guests coming over, that's what you prepare?
Well, a quick meal like chicken strips and pastry is my favorite.
Okay, so do you think you're going to be able to cook with the chef this evening?
Yes, of course. I'm really looking forward to experimenting a whole lot of things today.
And, you know, especially as a professional, you know, obviously diet comes a lot into play when you are preparing for the Olympics, like you are right now for Rio. Like, how big of a component is the diet aspect of your work?
Well, I think the most common aspect, concentration. So in order for you to concentrate as an athlete, even for anyone, you have to eat the right way, the right foods. And it's something that you need to take seriously because you also need that energy to perform. So there's no anything like I can't eat because I'm going to play, I'm nervous. But you need that fuel and you need that energy to make sure that you perform to your ultimate best.
Well, I hope you heard that, Musiburi. Amanda Dlamini talking about the fact that diet is so important in her line of work, which is why I suppose this will work, having her paired with Chef Blake this evening.
So Amanda, if you'll come over here to Chef Blake, we'll give you guys 30 minutes. It is 11 minutes past 6 o'clock right here on Kai FM 95.9. If you're tuning in, it's a different version of the Home Straight tonight because we're talking cooking, Olympics and the Danone Nations Cup final. So are the two of you ready?
Always.
Born ready.
Born ready.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Amanda, you ready?
I am very ready.
Please, I hope have you signed an indemnity form, because we don't have to chop your finger off. And then, you know, so you ready?
Yeah, no, as long as it's not my legs.
You know how to is your finger?
I know, no, I can.
Well, you know, if you're just joining us in Kaya, like Musibudi said, we've got a cooking element going on right here. We've got Chef Blake here who is preparing what seems to be like a really wonderful dish. Chef, I can smell a bit of like a vinaigrette, something like that. You know, my senses are just tingling, my spidey senses. Is there like a vinaigrette kind of going on? I smell something a bit licorice as well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so what we've actually done is what we've called a vegetable patch. So it's almost taking idea for bringing the garden into now the food side. So we've taken components being little mushrooms, little radishes, little carrots, all fresh, healthy eating products. We've taken then a pickle product here. So instead of no sugar, we've gone with a bit of a vinegary side. So all the idea that we have behind this dish is healthy eating. Just like the Olympian needs, we can't have carbs, we can't have all the, let's say, good food as we want to call it.
The delicious food.
Delicious foods, we can't have that at the moment. So we thought let's have some food items that we can have, but still play ideas with textures and flavors and things like that at the same time. So we're actually going to be building a little vegetable garden.
And there's like a bit of like a puree looking What puree is
It's
this?
a cauliflower puree. Cauliflower being very, very popular at the moment, not just your banting diets and so on, but it's a very clean, we should say, vegetable component, a bit of carbohydrates, good protein in it as well. So this entire dish is very, very healthy eating. That's what we're going for.
It's very
Yeah,
healthy
maybe
and
it-
very tiny, Amanda. Do you eat this tiny? That's the thing about gourmet food and like culinary experiences. The food is always so tiny.
And yeah, I'm asking the chef, are we having any of these dairy products? It's like, no, not today. But it looks very interesting. This is the first time actually I'm experiencing this. And I was actually thinking, chef, can't we take you with the Olympics already? Because this looks very healthy. And I think as an athlete, we can learn so much more from this, that you don't have to eat big foods, but your sources, your nutritions, this is where it's all at, organic.
And which part of this beautiful plate is you? Which part did you prepare?
Well, the baby carrots, they're looking fresh.
So you stuck them in
I
there?
had a hand somewhere there. The puree as well. Yeah, but please don't judge me, hey.
But it looks amazing. It actually looks really, really good. And chef, I was actually just wondering, as I see you do all this, and I remembered that I was reading somewhere that you were part of MasterChef.
Yeah, I did a lot of behind work with Arnold Tanzer, who's the executive producer for that. So I just helped the behind scenes. Unfortunately, I was not lucky enough or privileged to be on it. But no, I helped just be part of the whole team, the whole production team behind it, which is a phenomenal show to be behind.
And maybe you can tell us a little bit about the menu that you've got planned for the
Yeah.
Culinary Olympics coming up in October in Germany, because I saw some venison on there and other things. That
A
are
very
typically
South African looking menu, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, 100%. As we said, the emphasis behind the whole entire, should we say, dish is purely South African. So the crayfish that we are using is the Cape crayfish, so purely South African. The crayfish, the Malay spices coming through being purely South African. The main course, the venison that you mentioned now, is an emphasis and I think a large nation item or game meat that we try to focus and push. So even the dessert side as well, dessert we have textures of coconut and raspberries and lychee and hints of rose, because when we did a lot of research in developing the dish, the South Africa or Bloemfontein is the biggest producer of roses in South Africa and the rest
Yeah, the City of Roses, yeah.
City of Roses. So we said, well, let's use it. Let's showcase what South Africa is famous for and let's push it. Let's show the rest of the world.
And how do the Culinary Olympics work? I mean, is it like a group stages thing, the same way that you do with like the Olympics, Amanda, and they're in a group, and then you need to get out of the group and move on to the knockouts? How does it work?
With the Olympics, again, this year I think it's 35 nations that are competing. Like the Olympics that they normally do, you all can go for gold, but there's always going to be one overall winner. So there isn't really a knockout range in like a round robin series, but the way it will work is that all the teams will compete, and then from there we'll be judged on how we performed, teamwork and cleanliness and so on. It's all the vital elements that are required for a kitchen.
Give it to us.
Yeah.
Good, bad. Are we going to 360 to taste Blake's food, or are we giving it a miss?
Listen, this is gold status. Like, even before I tasted it, like the creativity, it looks amazing. The taste also, just the blend of that soury and that sweet as well. It's really amazing. Here I was, I'm thinking, maybe not, but this is definitely a hit.
I was actually thinking the same thing when I looked at it. I was like, there's a lot of vegetables going on here. But then it actually really tastes amazing. There's like a bit of a zing with the vinaigrette. It's actually amazing. This is a really, really good dish. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to buy your face, chef.
She's trying to get into your restaurant for free.
No, seriously, this is a great dish. I love the sourness that comes through. It's very well balanced with the sugar and that kind of thing. Is that what you go for, I suppose, when you are... Yeah.
So the whole point of a dish as well is meant to be balanced, like you said. So yes, if you have sour, but then you might have a sharp sweetness coming through in the back. So at the end of the day, you want to enjoy what you're eating. So if you're going to have something that's going to be too strong in contrast in flavors, but then here we're trying to bring in, like I said, different flavors coming through. So you have the sourness, you have the sweetness, you have the sharpness. It's going to try affect all of your taste buds. That's what we're trying to do.